Tonight on News at 9, dengue crisis. A considerable rise reported in the first 6 months of this year. Over 200 fatalities reported.
First at 9. This is Derana 24/7.
Also making headlines tonight, garbage crisis. The Colombo Municipal Council to take steps towards systematic waste management within 2 years. No confidence motion. The Tamil National Alliance to withdraw the motion after favourable response from the Chief Minister. In international headlines, France decides. Emmanuel Macron's party wins big in legislative elections. And in Sports Champions Trophy backlash, chaos in India after humiliating defeat at the hands of arch-rivals Pakistan. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mahesh Johnny with Derana 24/7. We begin tonight with an issue that is creating havoc across Sri Lanka. The menace of dengue continues to intensify, with the epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health stating that 200 lives have been claimed by the epidemic so far this year. Hospitals across the western province are packed with patients seeking treatment, and doctors have attributed the sharp rise in the number of patients to the lack of immunity to the virus.
According to the Epidemiology Unit of the Ministry of Health, 63,987 suspected dengue cases have been reported so far this year. A majority of 42.62% of cases has been reported from the Western Province.
There are 4 varieties of the dengue virus known as type 1, 2, 3 and 4. This time the majority of infections were due to type 2. We were not exposed to the type 2 virus much in the past. Thus, not many are immune to the virus. Previously, only about 4 or 5 out of 100 people bitten by dengue mosquitoes contracted the disease. Now, about 10 to 15 people develop dengue when bitten.
Wards in hospitals, including the Sri Jayawardhanapura Hospital, Kalubovila Teaching Hospital, Angoda Base Hospital and the Panadura Base Hospital are overflowing with patients.
The spread of dengue is increasing in these times. It's probably due to, I think, this area waste management is very poor. I don't know why. Maybe local administration is not functioning well. And most of the drainage systems are blocked, overflowed, so dengue spread is maybe due to that.
With the rains, there is a huge tendency for the mosquito population to increase. So this is why we have strengthened our fogging program so that we can knock down the female adult infected Aedes mosquitoes. In a situation like this is the only solution that we can think of in order to curtail the outbreak situation what we are experiencing island-wide.
Doctors also request the public to seek immediate medical attention from a qualified physician as soon as symptoms of fever are detected.
In the past, we used to take full blood counts after 3 days of fever. In fact, waiting 3 days is too late. In addition, when treating patients for fever, only paracetamol should be given, not drugs such as non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Ingesting even one such pill will increase the risk of fatality by several fold.
On to another story that is creating much discomfort in the capital. Commissioner of Colombo Municipal Council, V.K. Anura, says that the Colombo Municipal Council, together with the Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development, are working together to introduce a systematic and scientific waste management system in Colombo within 2 years. Not only in the capital, the garbage issue also created a heated confrontation at the Nuwara District Development Committee meeting today.
We are currently working on introducing a scientific method in waste disposal through which we will have a sustainable waste management system in 2 years. We have to work together in a systematic manner if we are to be successful. This is why we request the public to segregate their waste. I also believe that the mounds of garbage in Colombo are carried out by a certain group to create problems. Even if there are people who do not wish to cooperate, we will take legal action. We are currently carrying out raids in 6 districts and we have already taken perpetrators to court.
Meanwhile, area residents in Bellanville allege that a group of individuals are filling land and dumping garbage on the sly adjacent to the protected bird sanctuary of Bellanville. Following a complaint made by residents, the Sri Lanka Land Reclamation and Development Corporation and the Mount Lavinia Police launched an investigation in the area. Along with garbage, expired pharmaceuticals were found dumped in the area, exuding potentially toxic chemicals into the soil. Dehiwala Mount Lavinia Municipal Commissioner Dhammika Muthugala said that he had so far been unaware of the destruction. Meanwhile, a tense situation erupted at today's Nuwara District Development Committee meeting due to the prevalent garbage crisis in Hatton. The meeting took place at the District Secretariat this afternoon, spearheaded by Committee Chairman K.K. Piyadasa and attended by the relevant officials and representatives. During the meeting, a heated debate took place following comments made by the Coordinating Officer of Minister of Hill Country New Villages, Infrastructure and Community Development, Palini Tigambaram. Minister Digambaram instructed those present to organize a separate meeting regarding the matter, and it was suggested that areas of Rikatan and Patana to be used for garbage disposal from tomorrow.
In other local stories, State Minister of Finance Iran Wickramaratne says a new tax bill will be tabled in Parliament. Convening a media briefing today, the State Minister also said that a common policy on vehicle imports for the state service sector will be proposed in the future as well. He added that a committee has already been appointed regarding the matter.
The policy on tax should be stable, and we will table a new policy in Parliament, and it could be passed within the next 2 months. There is always a difference of opinion between the government and the business community. There's an act for it called the Tax Appeals Commission, where 9 commissioners could be appointed. That should be expedited. We are attempting to leave direct taxes and VAT as main taxes and gradually reduce other taxes. There are also taxes upon taxons, and they cannot be changed in a short period of time. As I said, VAT will not be removed, and we hope to gradually reduce other taxes, with some being removed. It was formed to simplify and give stability. We will also abolish tax holidays through this bill.
In one of our headline stories, the Chief Minister of Northern Province, C.V. Vigneshwaran, says that if the allegations against him are not proven accurate, he will take steps to send the 2 provincial council ministers who made the allegations in the first place on temporary leave. The Chief Minister made these comments while responding to the letter sent by the Tamil National Alliance. Earlier, Vigneshwaran demanded the resignation of 2 provincial council ministers, citing misconduct on their part, which led to the provincial council tabling a no-confidence motion against the Chief Minister.
After an investigation conducted by a 3-member panel, Agriculture Minister P. Aingaranesan and Education Minister T. Gurukularaja were charged with fraud. Accordingly, Chief Minister Vigneshwaran requested the 2 ministers to resign. Charges were also made against the Provincial Council Minister of Health P. Satyalingam and Minister of Transport and Fisheries in the Northern Provincial Council Tenishwaran. But the 3-member panel did not find any evidence as such to support those charges. Nevertheless, Chief Minister Vigneshwaran decided to send the 2 ministers on temporary leave and to take over their portfolios as well. This led to the majority of members in the Provincial Council to table a no-confidence motion against the Chief Minister. 21 members of the Tamil National Alliance signed in favour of the no-confidence motion and handed it over to the Governor of Northern Province, Reginald Curray, on the 14th of this month. 15 members of the Council signed against the motion, with the Chief Minister himself also appending his signature. The Tamil National Alliance alongside TILO sided against the Chief Minister while the EPRLF and Plot sided with him. In this backdrop, the leader of the TNA and Sri Lanka's opposition, R. Sambandhan, sent a letter requesting the Chief Minister to correct his decision, suspending the services of the two ministers who were found innocent by the three-member panel. Responding to this letter, the Chief Minister stated that he immediately took steps to cancel the compulsory leave and allowed them to resume service. The Chief Minister cited requests made by religious leaders and politicians from the north. However, he cautioned that steps will be taken to further investigate the accusations made against them. In a counter-response, opposition and TNA leader R. Sambandhan said that his party will take the necessary steps to ensure that in this backdrop and in faith of the actions taken by the Chief Minister, they will move towards the cancellation of the no-confidence motion against the Chief Minister Vigneswaran. Meanwhile, members of the Tamil National Alliance also demonstrated in front of the District Secretariat office in Vaunia, saying that the Chief Minister is ill-treating members of the TNA. Members supporting the Chief Minister arrived at the location, escalating the situation which had to be dealt with by the police.
Minister of Megapolis and Western Development, Patali Champika Ranawaka, had harsh words for the media over reports alleging that he may have been sheltering the leader of Bodu Bala Sena, Venerable Galabudatte Gnanasara THERA. The minister made his remarks at a media briefing held at the headquarters of Jathika Hela Urumaya today. Meanwhile, the leader of the Pivithuru Hela Urumaya, Parliamentarian Udaya Gambanpila, and member of joint opposition, Parliamentarian Vasudeva Nanayakara, also expressed views on the matter.
An extremely insidious media campaign has been launched against us by the Mahinda Rajapaksha faction, accusing me of sheltering Venerable Gnanasara THERA. A deplorable move has been made to imply that the Jathika Hela Urumaya and Venerable Aturaliya RATHANA THERA are behind Bodu Bala Sena.
The minister also highlighted that more attention needs to be paid to the threat of global terrorism.
There are certain groups in the country who are working hand in hand with international terrorists. It's not a minor problem, but a major one. It is the real threat, and there is no point in attempting to hide it. Stern legal action must be taken in this regard.
Meanwhile, Parliamentarian Udaya Gambanpila had this to say regarding the Bodu Bala Sena.
The relationship between the JHU and Bodu Bala Sena is no secret. Gnanasara THERA is the former Deputy National Organiser of JHU and contested the 2004 election from Colombo. I would like to warn Minister Champika Ranawaka not to push us towards divulging what we know by making false statements pertaining to Bodu Bala Sena. The only joint political meeting held by Bodu Bala Sena was with Jathika Hela Urumaya.
Meanwhile, UPFA MP Vasudeva Nanayakara had this to say.
The UNP conspired to instigate an incident like the Aludgam incident prior to the last election by the THERA, while the THERA feigned allegiance to Mahinda Rajapaksha. This move prevented Muslim votes falling for the former president. The question is not the arrest of Gnanasara THERA, but has evidence been accumulated to prove the allegations? Maybe the THERA says he cannot go to prison for doing their work. We have to deduce such to be the cause behind the delay in the THERA's arrest. There were media reports of Gnanasara THERA contesting the next presidential election. Minister Ranawaka estimates that votes gained by the THERA in such a scenario would be votes lost to the joint opposition. Champika Ranawaka is a conspirator. He would always instigate something and cross over at the last moment and ensure what's required for victory is done by Gnanasara THERA.
Parliamentarian Venerable Aturaliya RATHANA THERA says there is a proposal to re-import glyphosate, citing it as a necessity for tea cultivation in the upcountry. Convening a media briefing today, Venerable RATHANA THERA expressed these views.
Glyphosate was banned from Sri Lanka on the 15th of June 2015. Now there is a proposal to re-import glyphosate, citing it as a necessity for tea cultivation, but it is not proposed by the Department of Agriculture. Several discussions were held under the Parliament Sectoral Oversight Committee, and 2 discussions followed with the participation of several intellectuals. We are unaware of the content of the report given to the Parliament. Various intellectuals from the Presidential Secretariat participated in this discussion. Representatives from the plantation sector who hold science degrees also participated. We are unaware as to what that report is. This decision was not taken in Parliament. As far as we know, the relevant cabinet paper is due to be tabled, with the decision being the use of glyphosate is allowed in the Central Hills for a limited period. The request is made by mega plantations. There is a lot of talk suggesting the decision taken by the President for the good of the country is posing a challenge to commercial crops. The Ministry is yet to hold discussions on the matter with us, and it is regretful. We hope the President and the Prime Minister would not allow such a cabinet paper and listen to intellectuals and make a decision.
Auditor General Gamini Vijayasinghe says that central bank officials, including the former central bank governor, are responsible for the alleged loss incurred by the government from the controversial Treasury bond issuance. He was appearing before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the bond issuance of the central bank for the 6th consecutive day today.
Auditor General Gamini Vijayasinghe was cross-examined by Attorney at Law Chanaka De Silva, representing the former governor of the central bank Arjuna Mahendran. Attorney De Silva questioned the witness as to why the revised data report with regards to the acceptance of 10.58 billion bids given to the tender committee by the Public Debt Department during the auction on the 27th of February was not included in the COPE audit report. In response, the Auditor General stated that the previous report, which was completed by the Public Debt Department on the productivity of bids, was included in the audit report, and he did not see any reason to include the revised data report, which was compiled amidst various infringements. Member of the Commission, Supreme Court Judge Prasanna Jayawardena stated that it is necessary to have included the document in the report forwarded to the Parliament as the tender committee based its decision on the revised data report. Continuing to give evidence, the Auditor General said the intervention of the former governor has caused the suspension of the direct placement system. Auditor General Gamini Vijayasinghe will appear before the Commission tomorrow as well.
Now here's a brief look at more stories making news across Sri Lanka.
A 5-member judge bench has been appointed by the Chief Justice to deliberate the petition filed by parliamentarian Geeta Kumarasinghe, which will be taken up on the 15th of September. The bench was appointed upon a request by the petitioner. MP Geeta Kumarasinghe filed the petition challenging the decision by the Court of Appeal to annul her seat in Parliament in view of her dual citizenship in Switzerland and Sri Lanka. Investigation reports of the alleged misuse of state vehicles by former Minister Vimal Weerawansa, incurring a loss of 90 million rupees to the government during the previous regime, have been forwarded to the Attorney General. The Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division conveyed the matter when the case was taken up today at the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court, adding that the relevant investigations are now over and will be taken up again on the 23rd of October. The newly appointed State Minister of Public Enterprise Development, Lakshman Yapa Abewardena, says that the Director Board of Sri Lankan Airlines has been requested to take part in tomorrow's cabinet meeting to discuss about the future of the airline. The minister said this while assuming duties at his new ministry at the World Trade Center. President Maithripala Sirisena was also present at the occasion. A new book titled Marketing Strategy, penned by Sri Lankan marketing strategist and banker Luby Dias, was presented to Minister of Telecommunication and Digital Infrastructure Harin Fernando and State Minister of Finance Eran Wickramaratne today at a function held in Colombo.
Welcome back everyone. On to business. The Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, said today that a fiscal framework, a flexible inflation targeting framework and a legal framework have been put in place in order to ensure the country's development. He made these statements as part of his keynote address at the launch of the Oxford Business Group's report on Sri Lanka.
The Oxford Business Group's report analysing Sri Lanka's trade and international relations was launched today at an event attended by representatives of the media and the private and public sectors, with the Governor of the Central Bank delivering the keynote.
If you look at the growth process in Sri Lanka, there is a strong correlation between the size of the budget deficit and the level of growth. If you look at the successful countries in East and Southeast Asia. They've driven growth through exports. We drive growth through pumping excess demand into the system through the budget. So we get these sugar highs in terms of growth, and then we run into high inflation, a balance of payments pressure, and then we have to slam on the brakes, and we have repeated IMF programs. We probably have had more IMF programs than I expect any other country in the last 20-25 years. So that's the cycle we have to break, and that's what we're trying to do. Critical thing is to maintain inflation, and historically for us, to keep inflation stable, we have to get the budget right. Invariably, things come back to the budget. If we are to sustain 6-7% growth or more over 5-10 years, the private sector has to drive that.
Onto the stock market, Sri Lankan stocks were lower after today's close, dragged down by the plantation, diversified holdings and investment trust sectors. At close, the all-share price index declined 0.5 percentage point and the S&P SL20 index dropped 0.8%. Here is Hansini Badage from First Capital Holdings with a report of today's market activity.
ASPI was seen stumbling throughout the day and closed in red at 6,684, losing 35 points from yesterday. Both turnover and volume declined. Low foreign participation led to a marginal net foreign inflow of 27 million rupees. Largest foreign buying could be seen in HNB, CCS and HHL, while largest foreign selling could be seen in Dialog, JKH and Sampath Bank. We saw price decline in 98 negative counters led by large cap JKH and Combi, surpassed the effect of 45 positive counters.
The Sri Lankan rupee weakened today as dollar demands from importers weighed on local currency. The spot rupee forwarded for the first time since the 5th of May and was 153 to 3 rupees to 5 to 10 cents per dollar. Here's a look at how the rupee traded against other currencies during the day today. Welcome back onto sports. A 25-member training squad has been selected for the 5th Asian Schools Boys Volleyball Championship to be played in August in Iran. The squad includes players from 6 schools including Damisar National School, St. Joseph Vas College, Ranasinghe Mahavidyalaya, Davi Smara Mahavidyalaya, Maristella College and Ranjasinghe Central College. Sri Lanka under-19 coach Shaminda Lakshman was named the head coach while Tharaka Ratnavira was appointed to assistant position. Well, in one of the biggest Cinderella stories in recent sporting history, the lowest ranked team of the tournament, Pakistan, defied the odds to beat arch-rivals India in the final of the ICC Champions Trophy last evening. Pakistan picked up a 180-run win over the Indians, bowling them out for just 158 after setting a target of 339. Now, here's a look back at how the underdogs became the top dogs of the Champions Trophy 2017.
Pakistan opening batsman Fakhar Zaman, playing in just his 4th ODI, was named player of the final for his 114, while compatriot Hassan Ali was named the player of the tournament for his 13 wickets. After India opted to chase, Pakistan put on a mammoth 338 built on Zaman's century, and Mohammad Amir completed a full-circle return of his own with the vital wickets of Rohit Sharma, Shikhar Dhawan and Virat Kohli, 3 of the tournament's 4 highest run scorers. The defending champions were rolled for just 158 and Pakistan celebrated.
158 India blown away.
The streets of Pakistan were flooded with joyous fans and a barrage of fireworks and celebratory gunfire echoed around several Pakistani cities as traffic ground to a halt, with young men dancing to the beat of drums following the victory. It was Pakistan's first global 50-over title since the 1992 World Cup and a proud moment for a team who have been unable to host international cricket in recent years due to security concerns. Speaking after the game, Indian skipper Virat Kohli said his team had a good tournament.
Yeah, indeed. I want to congratulate the Pakistan team and their fans first. I think they really had an amazing tournament. The way they turned things around for themselves speaks volumes of the kind of talent they have in their side.
Back home, however, furious Indian fans vented their anger towards their team, taking to the streets and burning posters of their heroes, while others smashed TV sets and claimed the match was fixed. Fans dressed in blue howled against the Indian cricketers, prompting security to be beefed up outside the residence of former Indian captain Mahendra Singh Dhoni in the eastern city of Ranchi.
Making headlines across the world, French President Emmanuel Macron's party won a clear parliamentary majority in yesterday's legislative elections, weeks after his own presidential victory. Macron's Republic on the Move won 308 seats in the 577-seat National Assembly, and its Democratic Movement Alliance won 42, amounting to 350 seats, well above the 289 needed to control the parliament. Three-quarters of the Assembly's members are new, and a record 223 of them are women.
Despite the second round being marked by a voter turnout as low as 42%, the victory of La République En Marche deals a major blow to the traditional parties, with the Republicans forming a large opposition bloc with 137 seats and the Socialists managing their lowest ever tally of 44 seats. Defeated presidential candidate Marine Le Pen's National Front won only 9 seats, with Le Pen herself winning a seat for the first time, representing Hénin-Beaumont, a depressed former mining town in the north of France. With his parliamentary majority, President Emmanuel Macron can now attempt to make good on his major campaign promises, which include budget savings of €60 billion in the next 5 years, cutting the number of public servants by 120,000, and reformation of the labour market and state pension schemes.
1 man died and 10 people were injured in London as a van rammed into worshippers leaving a North London mosque in the early hours of this morning. British Premier Theresa May condemned the incident as a sickening attack on Muslims and is the third incident since March in the UK involving a vehicle being deliberately driven at pedestrians.
A van mounted the pavement and ploughed into worshippers leaving Finsbury Park Mosque just after midnight local time. The 48-year-old driver of the van was subdued by members of the public before being arrested on suspicion of attempted murder, and police said he would undergo a mental health assessment in due course. British Prime Minister Theresa May attended a meeting of COBRA, the government's emergency committee, this morning.
The early assessment by the police is that the attacker acted alone. There has been far too much tolerance of extremism in our country over many years, and that means extremism of any kind, including Islamophobia. This government will act to stamp out extremist and hateful ideology, both across society and on the internet, so it is denied a safe space to grow.
Well, Katharina Chang is at the Weather Centre with tomorrow's weather.
Good evening and welcome. Now we can expect wet weather over most parts of the island, particularly in the western, Sabaragamuwa and central provinces tomorrow due to the low pressure zone prevalent in the southwest part of the island. Now the districts of Gaul, Matra and Putla may also expect showers and thunder showers accompanied by strong winds. Kurunagala, Kandy and Ratnapura may experience cloudy skies and light showers. Let's now take a quick look at the city-by-city forecast.
And that is a part of your world tonight right here on THERA 24/7. I'll be back again tomorrow at 9 p.m. with the very latest. Be sure to join me then. And before we go, we'd like to take you down south to the Koskoda Turtle Hatchery. With the sanctuary, the project turtle eggs collected from beaches can hatch in safety away from predators and poachers, after which the hatchlings are released into the sea as soon as they are strong enough. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a good night.
information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, THERA 24/7.